Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you can hear me over the rain. It's raining really loud outside today. Now in the first couple of videos you would have heard that I bought this Celica and it was sold to me as having a failed engine. So rather than just going through all the work of pulling an engine out and putting a new one in and potentially finding that the noise wasn't engine related, I want to get some hard evidence that the engine's actually gone. So while we're removing the sump, tell me whether the engine's gone or not. Well, generally, when an engine fails, say a piston ring snaps, a bottom end bearing fails, it's got to go somewhere. And just like your engine oil doesn't just leak out magically, if your car's well maintained, you shouldn't do that. Well, the parts inside your engine, if they fail, then they're going to stay in your engine. So let's give you the example of a bottom end bearing. Should you spin a bottom end bearing, for example, it's going to basically disintegrate, it's going to get grated up, mashed up. And when you remove the sump and you look at the oil, you should be able to see glitter, a metal type sand, copper coloured, metal coloured, anything that isn't absolutely immaculate in that sump. You're going to know that you have some sort of engine failure. And due to the way the oil gets circulated through the system, you could have a faulty component in the cylinder head and it's going to get to the sump and you're going to find out. So that's why I'm removing the sump. So that's enough talking. Let's find out if this engine is actually a goner. Look at this. Nightmare trying to find a jacking point. I can't get to the sills because of the skirts. And I don't want to crush them, so I'm going to jack it up from the wishbone mounting point. I was tempted to jack it up from that bar there, but I couldn't find confirmation whether it can handle the weight, so the subframe it is.
One hour later.
So it's finally on axle stands. I did have it even higher, but I've lowered it a bit because I didn't want the axle stand slipping because the rear's not raised and you can only have it so high. So the sump seems to be quite a weird design. I've never seen an engine block where there's just a massive amount of metal and a little tiny sump on the left. But I'm not complaining. Makes my job a little bit easier. So I'm going to pull the sump off now. And something else I noticed, no oil filter. Maybe it was taken off when it broke down, I don't know. Oh, I've officially eaten a bit of the Celica, it just fell in my mouth. So that's all the bolts out, that's just silicone now holding the sump on. And here's the bolts I've removed. Trying to keep a nice clean workspace. Partly why I built this garage, so I could do this type of work. So we're about to tap this off. I'm noticing a lot of rust on the sump, and I've also noticed almost all of these bolts are different lengths, different types, different head, different washer. So whoever's rebuilt this engine, they haven't really put much time and effort into it. And there's oil everywhere as well. Like here, for example, you know, it's just a shoddily done job. But I'll set the camera up on the tripod again and I'll tap the sump off. I mean, I'm seeing lots of things that are potentially of concern. This oil pan's been bashed to hell and back, there's oil everywhere. Things that you'd think a professional engine builder would have put right, but they obviously never. Here it goes. It's off. Ooh. That was supposed to be empty, but it's not. So how about we take the sump over to the workbench and inspect, see if there's any metal in there. It looks promising. I mean, There doesn't seem to be any immediate signs of like mashed up bearings everywhere. Maybe they get filtered before they get to this far. Ooh, is that a piece of metal? Oh, we've got bits of metal. Yep. There's bits of metal there. Okay. So this could have potentially just got a lot more expensive. Right then, let's have a look. Yeah, so there's not just bits of metal in here. There's like a layer of jelly on the bottom, but if you actually stick your finger through the jelly, there's absolutely loads of it. Now my theory is, whoever rebuilt this engine just put some new pistons in it and call it a day. I reckon the engine has had a cracked piston ring. The second time, when they rebuilt the engine, they didn't clean it out. Okay, so I'm at a point now where I've got two options. Something's definitely failed in the engine. The engine's going to need work whatever happens, that's a fact. I got two options really. I can either try and find what the actual failed part of the engine is, whether it's a comm rod bearing, a piston is cracked, and just go into further diagnosis. Or do I just put the sump back on, pull the engine out and deal with it on the engine stand? So yes, unfortunately the engine is going to need to be investigated. Now I think I spoke a little bit about whether I'm going to rebuild the engine in the car, just replace the bottom end bearings if they failed, or replace the exact component that was failed. I'm not going to do that. This car deserves better than that. It deserves the best I can give it. And the best that I can give it is pulling the engine out, sticking it on an engine stand and giving it a full proper rebuild. So that's what we're going to do. As you can see, it's a stunning example. It survived 25 years. It's got JDM modifications on it, and I think it deserves a bit of money spent on it and to be looked after. So in the next video, I'm hoping to start tearing down the engine bay, remove the turbo, remove the manifold, remove the battery, just basically clear up the engine bay so that I can get a hoist and lift out that engine. So yeah, not good news, but I expected it, I was prepared for it. I do hope you're enjoying the series on the Celica. While I have really enjoyed working on my Evo 10, and I'm going to continue to do so, the Celica is really going to test my ability as a DIY mechanic. It's really the next level, having to rebuild an engine, especially one that's so old and has suffered such catastrophic failure, I suppose. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys!